So our final presentation is Tuesday at 2:00. And we will look, Michael and I need to discuss the format exactly. We'll have hopefully two guests, and maybe we'll put together a short script and maybe email it if we don't have, we'll have to email something just to kind of keep everybody on point with the topics. There's really no need to kind of re-explain the house again and again and again. But the things that we'd like to hear from you. So maybe we'll send out a brief, some talking points for when you present your work, which will be, it'll be short and sweet because it's a case study. It's not your own creative work. And we'll look at, I don't know, Michael and I will discuss if we're going to do, I guess we'll do one student, probably both boards. Yeah, probably.
Both boards?
I mean, show each project.
Oh,
like, so when it's Romina's turn, she'll show both projects.
It's also show project one.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. However briefly, or if not that brief, but yeah, we should show both. Okay. And so how many do we have actually? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I think. So 10 minutes each is 2 hours. So probably aim for something like that.
Mm-hmm. That should be plenty of time.
Yeah. And hopefully Miles will be joining us. And did I invite some? Oh, Tony Palomore. I asked Tony to put him on the list. I know he likes, we all like, but he's a software instructor as well. So I thought he would enjoy this and he'd be happy with the results, as Michael and I generally are as well. Any questions about anything before we look at work?
Are we part of that or just the teachers?
Oh no, of course you're part of it. You're the the main event.
I didn't know we're gonna do like a presentation. That's why I was like,
yeah. It's, again, we'll give you talking points. So it's really, you'll discuss, you'll talk about what you like about the projects, especially the second project. You'll point to it in your board, and then it's really kind of more like talking shop, I would say, kind of talking about the procedures, what worked, what didn't work, what you might do differently, what was frustrating. It's a 2-minute presentation, and then we'll hear from Miles and Tony mostly, and Michael and I get to sit back. Okay.
yep. And
All
that's
good?
Tuesday at 2, I guess, right?
Yep. All right. Issa's here. And Lyric is here. Full house. Or no, Tao?
No towel.
No Tao. Okay. Almost a full house. All right. Let's look at some work. I'll share my screen. So we'll look at the renderings first, and then we will look at boards. Let me just take a look at how much we have to look at, so we pace ourselves accordingly.
I had to send 3 new ones in.
Oh, how new? How recent?
I sent them yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yesterday's fine.
Because I had to redo them.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we have quite a few renderings to look at, and we have 3, 6, 9 boards. Okay. So we'll keep moving along. Looks like we got at least 24 files to look at. All right. Tatiana, you're up. Are you here?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. The sun is kind of interesting. The person's very pixelated.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, otherwise she's perfect. So did you check that file size for her, Tatiana?
I thought I did. I'll have to relook at that.
And this is tiny too, actually.
Yeah.
So this is just 220 and barely 5 inches square.
Yeah, I had problems with because Lumion's new on my computer. When I was trying to download poster size, it crashed. So
Uh.
for now I did the smaller version. I have to figure that out.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
How do you feel about the sun, Michael?
well, it's really dramatic, but it's also a little bit, it's distracting. I mean, it's unfortunate, we can't see the structure really well. I mean, I think I would still include it on the board, but I probably wouldn't make it the feature. And I don't know if we can make the person, since you've submitted a Photoshop file, let's see with, the person's really good seated except for the
Yeah.
pixelation.
Yeah.
I would just, can you try, just see what it's like without her? Just, yeah, make her go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do need a figure there of some sort.
Yeah.
I also you might be able to do a little bit of adjustment. The shadows are kind of dark. So you might want to do, David could actually try doing this right now, is a new, brightness contrast or levels. Actually, I often like to do levels.
Levels what would you do with the levels?
Well, the shadows are just really dark. So I would push the midpoint around a little bit. So down where,
just
where it
right
says
here.
RGB. See what we get. Do we get any better?
I'm not sure if I got clipping masks on here.
Okay. Oops, that looks like saturation. What's going on?
Yeah, that's doing like it's
Feels like it's doing the hue saturation instead. I mean, even though you are.
yeah, the whole thing. Let me see what I can do with brightness.
Yeah, brightness.
So what are we trying to do? We're trying to just work with the shadows
I was like trying to pull out the shadows.
to make them darker or lighter.
Brighter. If there's some detail in the shadows that would be nice to bring in. Maybe not.
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would do that.
I'm gonna have to re-render it anyway, so I'll play with it.
Yeah. I move the sun either maybe completely behind it. Maybe it's okay backlit, but yeah, but it is kind of blinding.
I mean, there's actually an image that's a bit like this, but the photograph that was taken of it. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I like how it's like kind of natural, like it's a real experience, like turning into the sun. Like I kind of like that idea, but yeah, we can't see into it.
Right.
And so I would say, I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if Michael agrees with me, but if you're really like, if it continues over the weekend with crashing at the big scale, just make a smaller board for now. I think it's kind of, a last minute, if you make like whatever it has to be, the 18 by 24 board or even smaller if need be. And
Okay.
I think it's more important that you're in Lumion, that you have a proper size board, in my opinion.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So if the board has to shrink to accommodate smaller renderings, as long as they're high quality renderings, yeah, I don't mind a smaller board. Is that okay, Michael, do you think?
I think that's a great solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll try it again. That was just yesterday, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If you can't get out the big ones, then if it ends up being whatever it is, a 9 by 18 board or something, I think we could be flexible on that. It's more important that you experience Lumion.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's a pretty view. But yeah, the problem is also just the horizon is so we're at the end of the earth here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the shadows are nice. The grass is beautiful. I wonder if maybe just some vegetation, actually, maybe just some,
Yeah. Something in the distance.
yeah. Yeah, just something. However, just not even much, just kind of to break. Yeah, I would try that. I think that's not a bad idea. Something distant and not, not obtrusive.
And you can do that in Lumion. There are actually clusters of trees that you can bring in.
Yeah, I did that in a photo with the looking out from the house, so the other direction. I put some trees in the background just to cut that up. But
Mhm.
we could do
Right.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful model, so we really want to see it, and maybe even you do another view where you have the sun. I mean, typically, this is kind of an arty shot, but typically we want to shoot with the sun over our shoulder, coming from behind and illuminating it.
I'm just showing off her other views.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael. I just, in case she had already kind of addressed what you had in mind, I just wanted to show. And now looking at the other ones, I'd say this, I don't know if, yeah, it's so backlit. These are nice and bright and clear. Yeah, there's some trees. Did the furniture never arrive?
I know the furniture, just sort of where I'm standing, I guess, or where the shot is. I tried to keep it actually sparse and just let it speak for itself.
Uh-huh.
But if it looks too empty, that's.
That one looks a little suspiciously empty. Well, compared to everybody else's, it does. Like even like the foot of the bed, I would expect to see here
Okay.
something. I mean, it's not the end of the world, and you could always, I don't know if you could, but let's see. If we get into cropping, where's my crop? You just bring us a notch closer. I don't know. We just could reduce the foreground a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, looking good.
Have you, in Lumion, Katya, have you played around with repositioning the sun a little bit too?
No, I haven't.
Because you might want to, if you are doing this, you might want to angle the sun so it's a little more, not so much in this one, that more of it is really shining on the rest of it. It kind of helps to illuminate the interior. It's a very touchy feely kind of loose thing, but you just go to sun and you can change its height and its position.
Okay.
But but I think the sun coming more from the south would be better.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful model, so we just want to really show it off as best as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I think he looks good, and his shadows the best. Their shadows are a little peculiar.
Yeah, I had trouble with those.
Yeah, not easy.
Not really happy with the way they turned out.
Yeah, well, again, just like following following that line, which you generally did, but his shadows arcing. Again, pixelation, it looks like. I would check all these.
Okay.
Something looks suspicious there. So, following suit with these shadows, she's pretty good, but like, his shadow's coming out here.
Mm-hmm.
It really just belongs in front of him. The color's good, matches the other shadow perfectly, but just keep it really, really in line.
Oh, it looks good. Mhm.
Yeah, how was Lumion?
I need to play around with it more.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's starting to feel it out.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, any questions about any of it, or?
No.
Yeah, even a little bit of trees do help back there. Maybe a little more cluster, a little less parade perhaps, but
Yeah, there is like, you look within Lumion, there is like, you can put in clusters of trees that are meant to go into the background like that. They're not as detailed, but they're great if you want to fill out something at the horizon or at the in the distance.
yeah, just to kind of break that horizon line that's pretty endless.
And I know Betsy hates seeing objects just sitting on these green lawns with nothing around it. So not that she'll be able with us for this review, but just for her reference,
Sure.
make her happy.
Good.
Okay.
Tao is here.
Did you tell? Yeah, he is
Yep,
here.
I'm
He
here.
was a little late, but he's here. Oh, and he got into manipulating the landscape. Looks a little bit like a golf course, but still,
That's what I was going to say.
it's a good attempt.
Yeah, it's a little too perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could chop off Lumion and come in a little bit.
yeah. I think the more you pull it in, as David is doing, the better off you'll be.
I pull it in the InDesign, like I keep
Yeah.
the whole thing in Photoshop, but like
Okay.
Excellent. That's what you should do. Yeah. And I'm not, again, that Lumion person. He's not working for me. The 3D Lumion person walking off the deck there. He's the 2D people, if you're going to rely on Lumion, are better, or running this through quickly in Photoshop. But this is just what I was mentioning in the last with Tatiana. Is the light is coming from the right direction, so it's illuminating the building. We don't have, we have an interior, but we don't have really deep shadows. So it's like it's coming from over our shoulder. So the light's good, the model's great, but yeah, if you could just replace that. Is there really that much gravel bed around it? No, I don't think so.
And so in Lumion, you were able to you could choose like how much
You can
gravel, and you could get this
Yeah.
spill of gravel on the grass in Lumion.
Mr. Tao has gotten very far with Lumion, and yes, that's one of the things you can actually paint the ground with the material.
Wow.
So
I think it's like a smaller rectangle, but like I think just that when you paint it, it doesn't. It's like a
it's just the
circular
size of
tool.
the circle, but you have to make it really small.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to concentrate it, but like I can't get it straight.
Yeah, you have to get it excruciatingly small. I don't know why the default is like really big.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to like push it down to almost the smallest setting possible, smallest opening possible. It's not a fatal error. It's just like, oh yeah, it's not. It looks like a lot of gravel. But we're picking at little things. So, and also make sure the grass, that grass looks like it should be instead wild grass. I'm not sure if it is.
Looks very manicured.
Landscape, yeah, it looks very manicured and mowed.
But the wood's beautiful too.
Yeah, you've done a very nice, the edges look good of the deck.
Yeah, this band looks
Detail
nice.
is- Lots of excellent detail here.
Yeah, for everybody, that's generally what you want in the band. I mean, if you really zoom in, it still kind of looks like three pieces, but you really have to look for it, as opposed to last class we saw some where it had this kind of stripe running around, multiple band stripe, and that just stood out as incorrect. So this is much improved, where the band appears to be, you know, one continuous piece, or very near one continuous piece.
How do you fix that? Do you fix it on SketchUp or on Lumion?
You actually have to fix it in SketchUp
Yeah, I
Okay.
fixed it in SketchUp.
Okay.
and then bring it in. Yeah.
Making it one piece and a separate material in SketchUp.
Different material. Yeah, you apply different material on that.
Yeah.
So then you can manipulate it. But it's good. This is really good because, you know, if we look at this, the only false notes that I'm getting is the landscape and the figure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, the sky looks great. The building looks excellent. We can see it in all of its detail that you've put into it. It's nicely illuminated. So it's a very, it's very compelling. And this, you know, you should run this. This could, you only submitted one image, but this could certainly be your key image, the much bigger image.
Oh, I updated the previous, like the other two. Like I resubmitted it on the other two. I didn't like add on to this one
Okay.
because that's why.
All right.
And if you submitted a board, we'll see them all in a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice. Great.
Good. Very nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, the character is the weakest link.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. You there, Hector?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm just kind of giggling at the girl in the back. She reminds me of, like, she's like a tiny figure. Like, it reminds me of a like a fantasy of like mini people.
Yeah.
She looks like she's like, you know, she's like smaller than this leaf. Like, I
I
forget
didn't
what
even
the
see
story.
her.
Yeah, she's back there. When I was a kid, there were like these storybooks about little people. I forget what they were.
Yeah.
Running around. And so he's super pixelated too. So Hector. So I'm not sure why people are having problems with people. And so no stretching them. You know, you got to open up a whole bunch of people, get them to 300 ideally, and then do a save them as a JPEG, and then bring them in. So that's kind of, because it really, once you put one piece in that's not up to par with the rest in terms of resolution, it's just they stand out like a sore thumb. You can't stop looking at them. So the backdrop, so there's scale issues. These palms are massive. This girl is tiny. She was like, so some scale issues there. You know, this tree looks enormous, like the size, like, you know, if it's in a distance, it's smaller, if anything, but it's actually the size of one of these pieces of glass. So that, I mean, that tree has got to be big. These leaves are massive. I mean, this guy could sit underneath that leaf.
Yeah, tropical vegetation has large leaves, but not that big.
Yeah.
The other thing is your view. I mean, you've already spent a lot of time in Photoshop with this, but your view, you should be standing back further or at a little bit more of an angle so that we can really see more of the room, and that you do your field, make sure your field of view is wide, set to 55 degrees or so. And why did you decide to color in the hammock? Was it not showing up?
It just when it came up white, it just looked like everything was blending in too much. So I wanted to give it some contrast.
It's too much. So everything outside the windows is supposed to recede, and
Yeah.
it's not. It's like coming in and taking over. It's taking over the image. So, You could probably get rid of the girl. It's too hard to get a scaled person in this kind of a landscape. The hammock should really just be a net. And what's this drape? What's that?
No, that's the fireplace. That's
Oh,
the
is it?
fireplace.
Oh,
that-
oh, okay.
We should really
okay.
see that
Okay.
because that took a lot of work.
Okay. It just has a slight angle in it. That's why I thought drape. Did you check the resolution of the person? Is this confusing for some reason or causing problems for people?
No, I just had trouble finding someone that was sitting down, and his image was when I pulled it up, it came up really small. So I had to go back in and try to fix all that.
Yeah.
I put in on the architecture entourage, I put in the word sitting, people sitting, and it got a lot of images for me because I was looking for sitting people too.
Yeah. He fits perfectly.
Yeah.
He's a little casual for, I don't know. But the resolution, not even to talk about his look.
Right.
Yeah, so the background for everybody, if it's outside a window, especially, it needs to really, this is like a TV screen coming into the house. Any questions about any of these? All good? Okay. They're good. I mean, it's a good start, I think you're all going to be, I think things are generally looking very good and optimistic about for Tuesday. There's work to be done, but did I open these already? Yes. All right. Paula, you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Okay. What are they looking at?
I don't know. I was trying to find some guys that were looking to to the outside, but I just keep searching for people like they were backwards, not from the side. So it was kind of hard.
No, they're good. I mean, generally you did a good job with them.
Yeah.
I kind of like them, but there's nothing on the ceiling. We need skylights or some dramatic ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to look out to the landscape.
Yeah, but your Photoshop technique is good.
Thank
It's
you.
just the figures aren't quite right.
Yeah. How'd you get this landscape behind the window? Is that behind the window actually?
Yes. So do you remember the same tutorial for putting the trees on front in front of the facade?
Yep. Yeah.
So I kind of did the same with the windows and image outside. Like, I don't know, like with the erasing tool, I just put the background and then like erase a little bit.
You erased here on the window?
No, it's
Not
like
really.
a blur. It's like blur. I don't know how to explain it.
It's not bad, but you could get so yeah, I don't know how else you would do it. That's really a tricky situation with SketchUp and transparent windows, how to work outside of a transparent window. But you could, because I could see a little bit right there. So yeah, like
Just a little more erasing.
you could get the polygonal lasso, in Photoshop and just select, four clicks and then just erase anything that's on top of it. I think this is okay. I think the windows are decent, but yeah, it does feel like it's going right across your windows. So clean out on top of the window frames.
Okay.
Yeah, the people have to look out.
Okay.
Now, if these guys were over at the desert shelter, I think he wasn't he? Was he?
There were people like that at the desert shelter staring up into the sun, the desert sun.
The sun starers.
Yeah.
I had them too on the case study.
They look familiar. I mean, maybe if he was on the other side of the window looking up, but
Yeah, I understand.
yeah. And where are we? What wall is this? This is the
This is the
bedroom?
bedroom.
Is there a wall there? What is that?
There is a wall, the wall behind the bed that divides it from the other bedroom.
Oh, all right.
And I don't quite understand what is going on with the floor with these different textures.
I don't know either. I just put like I try to put a something in the floor because it was like boring.
Well, so okay. You don't.
Where's this yellow from? Is that SketchUp?
Uh-huh.
And then where's this red rusty color from?
SketchUp.
They're both from SketchUp?
Uh-huh.
So you created a pattern?
No, I
An
didn't.
existing pattern.
They are so the brown one is the floor and then the other one is a carpet material.
I
In
think
materials.
one is probably enough.
Yeah, I'd go with the wooden. I wouldn't worry about being boring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not your building to get overly worried about boring. I mean, you want to present it nicely, but you don't have to reinvent the interiors.
Okay.
You prefer the dark one, Michael?
Yeah.
So I saw a comment because I have like 3 different views of this, like 3 different options for this view. So I kind of did a late yesterday and I sent 3 different options to you guys through inbox. And I saw the professor comment saying I should choose another view and then put a bed there because it's the bathroom. So I'm gonna do it again and choose the other view and put a bathroom over there and take the carpet out.
I have to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you looked at that. I'm sorry I didn't get to it sooner, but yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, it's just, and that little lone table without any chairs just seems kind of like weird.
Okay.
So, but I think, but the good thing is you really have your Photoshop technique down
Mm-hmm.
really well. Although, David, do you think that the landscape needs to be turned a little bit? It looks like it's running downhill a little bit. Or is that following the perspective?
Like this, like running that way?
Yeah,
It's not
it's not
It's
terrible.
not bothering me. It's not bothering me.
No, I think it's good. I think you show a lot of, as I said, you show a lot of good Photoshop skills here. So
Yeah.
I feel very convinced that you'll get it right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I submit the first one I submitted again. I did it again. Well, it's in the second view. So I submit the first one and the second view again in the second box.
We'll have to see. You really got to keep you got to. Everybody has to stop going back to the old boxes. It takes so much time.
It's for the today's box. It's for today's
Okay,
box.
all right. If it's in one of today's boxes, we'll see it then. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And we'll probably see it on the board too. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
In studio class, I'm like going back to old boxes. It's next semester. Things are going to be a little different. And like this guy could almost just be out here. I feel like he's like the right, like
mhm.
like he doesn't, as faded as he is, if he was outside, he wouldn't have the crossbars going through him. Because this is definitely an example where like the ghost is nice, the shadows are nice, but then you get all these like strong shapes running through people, and that gets a little distracting. I like ghosted people, but they conflict with stuff that's behind him often. But I think if he was out here, it would be less so.
So will you prefer like people on the outside instead of the inside?
Well, it's, it's very, it's, I hate to like not answer questions directly, but there's no clear answer like that, I mean, if they work inside, that's great, but for one thing, they're staring at the ceiling, so that definitely doesn't work. And they're really kind of fighting with these window frames, and that doesn't really work. So, people inside are great if they work well, but if they're not working well, then, I mean, if he were out here, he's the right level of ghost and fogginess, and maybe he's looking at I don't know what he's looking at out there. Something not on the ceiling. So it's there's no clear answer. That's the thing. We can't, in this business, it's really hard to speculate and imagine things generally. Unfortunately, it's easier to point out what doesn't work. Or when something's not working, it's very clear. But there's good stuff. Like Michael said, we're not trying to be, overly, we're not complaining about it. It's just, improvements needed. But your
Yes.
Photoshops are good. Your Photoshop skills are coming along nicely, but there's some room for improvement though.
Okay.
It's on its way.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, good. Laney, you with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
I think the person's a little intense.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, given the rest of the interior.
Yeah. But the rendering's nice. What else did you do in Photoshop? Anything else, or is this all SketchUp?
Everything is pretty much Photoshop. I had to up the contrast and the exposure a bit just to give it some lightness, because in SketchUp it's really dark. And then I did the gradients on the walls and the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's nice. They're nicely done and they're subtle, but they make it read really well. You might want to do a gradient also on that island.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That looks a little, it just looks a little flat right now.
Right.
That isn't quite working with you. And you did such a great job with the other renderings with placing the figure. This
Mm-hmm.
one, I don't know what's, you have that dad standing at the kitchen counter, perfectly placed. And she somehow just doesn't feel, she's both too vivid and doesn't feel particularly grounded there.
Mhm.
Right.
And there are no where's the floor from? Is that SketchUp?
Yes.
And there's no shadows?
Yeah, you have
The only shadow really is like that little speckle next to the window, which is at its darkest, but everything else was the same tone.
if you want to get light, you could do it very early in the morning in the summer, and the light would shine through and cast a shadow. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a little that's manipulating the light to do that. But I mean, what you've done as far as the gradients is really nice.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you need to get shadows, but she has shadows. She's out in the sun. That's the problem. She's got highlights on her shirt. She's got dark shadows on her shirt, and so if the sun is not making its way in, so it's this beautiful, diffuse, indirect sun. That's okay. So just stick with that story and get somebody in there that has no bright shadows. Or are you doing this one with the guy cooking? Or is this a different view?
It's a different view. We asked for a different view.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying to get someone on the stairs, but I couldn't really find a good person that sits correctly from that angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate the difficulty of that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm just looking. I'm pulling back. I just want to see, where would it make sense to have a figure?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Possibly there, or
Yeah,
this is this is a big empty space, but it's kind of a weird place to stand. Do you think all three need, I mean, as a rule of thumb, Michael, what would you say? Like, if you have 3 renderings, do all 3 need people or just 2 or?
I'd like to see what people can do about bringing people, bringing in figures. It's
Yeah,
not necessary. If you look at the photographs of these, there's about 50% have people and 50% don't.
yeah,
I mean, I like, the advantage is a figure always brings you in. Just kind of invites you into the image. She's just not quite the right figure.
yeah, she's out in the sun. Maybe a little pooch. There's a pooch walking. Or a toy or something, it could be. Something on the floor, you know, if we have dad and kid in the other, you know, it could be a toy.
Yeah, you can begin to tell a little story.
Right.
Yeah. Or if it went back to SketchUp, there could be a little, maybe a table and a flower or something. I don't know. You don't want to overdo it though, but later I should show you Joyce's here. She had a really nice 159 rendering that was really playful for the gallery with like fun entourage in it. Maybe after the break, I'll show 1 or 2 quickly. It's nice. The rendering's nice. You just have to get the right person, right? Little accessory. That's
Right.
good. Okay. Keep moving. All right. Abdullah. We're gonna take a look at all 3 before we dig in. Ooh. Could live in there.
So you've really gotten into Lumion here. That's okay.
Four of them.
Yes.
Let's look one more time. I like the view.
It's a strange angle where it's like that's the spy cam above. We're very
Yeah,
high. It
that's what
feels
it's.
like we're very high looking down. Maybe we're not. Maybe it's just the angle, the wide angle view.
Yeah, it feels like a camera in the ceiling. And it's a little odd that you can't walk around the foot of the bed.
Yeah, actually, because the room is too small, I think.
They show it furnished and planned with the bed?
Yes.
They do, and it fits. Something's
Who knows?
odd.
This could be a Lumion thing. Could be
Yeah.
just a little too big.
And it's got a lot of plush blankets spilling over. If you had maybe if it was a slight, is that a Lumion bed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe if it didn't have this big comforter spilling over, it would look a little tighter. The light's beautiful.
hmm
She's like well done, but also kind of odd how she's like perfectly framed in there. She's good. I like her a lot.
Mhm.
And these
Yeah.
are Lumion people or no? This is Photoshop people?
Yes, no, Lumion.
Lumion?
2D Lumion people.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be content just with her back there. I don't think she's needed. She fits in there a little too perfectly. That's just my feeling.
It's a
This
lot
is
of way
all
she's
beautiful.
striding towards the image.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one's good back there. She's far away. This is really like just rich back here. This little detail. Yeah, I think just the fitting of the bed, her, and the kind of the odd view. I don't know. I could get past the odd view maybe.
Yeah, me too. And you can just scale the object in Lumion just to save yourself aggravation. Just scale the bed down.
Oh, you could? Yeah.
Yeah, you can just scale the object.
Yeah, just enough so we can walk around so we don't have to roll over the bed to get to the other side. It's nice. What's this?
Yeah, what is that? Roman ruins or something, or Mayan ruins, I guess, in this case, in Mexico.
It's big. It's far away. You could lose some of that. So are these on a board? Cropped on a board? You there, Abdullah? Can't hear you if you're there.
I don't know what's happened. Me too.
I just heard you. No, I don't hear you. We'll do all the talking. Hopefully we'll see him on a board.
Yeah,
That's
you're
my
still
first thought,
muted.
Michael.
Yeah, I think really it's just this image would be great cropped down considerably. There's a lot of extraneous information we really don't need.
More so than I did even? Keep coming closer.
I think you've got it about right.
It's getting closer.
Yeah, I submitted more in the draft too. There's like 6 other pictures.
I'm just, yeah, and I'm not even sure about, that background, even cropping the top too. I mean, it might be a little weird with those
Okay.
palm trees like cutting off in the middle of nowhere, but
Like just
I mean, the building is really our focus and the foliage. It'd be nice if there were some low plants in that background. I'm just saying that because that's something you can do really fast. Some low vegetation behind the building. So that's a real party of people going on there.
so this feels like another spy cam to me though, like a drone.
Yeah, it does.
Like a celebrity party going on. It's nice. The landscape's nice. It's a nice view of the house. It shows off the house in a nice
Light's
nice
good.
fashion. Good.
What should I change?
You got to. We're too far away. We want to get closer.
Yeah.
Something more like that.
Yeah, as I said, I submitted more pictures in the draft too, like 6 or 7.
Okay, if we have time, we'll go back.
Yes. Okay.
In general, we want to not go
Okay,
back too
yeah.
far. All right, good. Let's see. Was there one more? This one. There she is walking at us. Yeah, so same people. There's the bed, there's the thing. This angle's a little weird, maybe. I don't know.
It's a little strange. I mean, it would be nice if there was one that was more at eye level.
Yeah,
And this is kind of sitting up in a tree.
yeah.
And there's too many people. You don't need all those people.
It looks like a tourist attraction.
I mean, you figure, at most, this little place is going to have three people kind of max, and will they all be in one photograph? Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, think all the projects. Think it's like one or two small families visiting.
Yeah.
And like I think Tatiana had the 2 kids and then some dad-looking figure there. That's more of a cohesive group. Like these 5 people have nothing to do with each other. She's taking pictures This one's reading a newspaper in the middle of the grass. So think about the story. You know, it's not just about scale figures. One or two typically should suffice.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. All right, we'll see. Maybe we'll see it on the board, or if we have time, we'll go back and look at your others. You're good. You guys are getting a lot done now. Romina. I've seen this guy before.
Yes, we have. Facing maybe the other way, but still, no, maybe not.
So again, his shadow. So the direction, shadow direction. So the direction's good, but again, a lot of people kind of struggle with this. And I think that's what I said to Tatiana with the kids. Just think about those shadows. I don't think I could zoom in and draw at the same time, unfortunately. But if the sun's coming in this direction, so you got the shadow, you got the direction right, but that shadow starts right at his, that would be his right, that's his big toe right there, which is kind of the furthest point out, and it just goes that way. So, and then, you know, on the other side, you know, he's a pretty skinny guy, you know, this back, his left heel casts kind of the next shadow, you know, and he doesn't, you know, you got these big shoulders kind of going on. So kind of keep it, you know, think about the outermost parts. I mean, his elbows might cast shadows, but in general, they start with the outermost parts of the feet and proceed. So a lot of the shadows are getting too bulbous.
He's too wide. He needs to be skinnier, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Bulbous, bulb-like. And then we should be able to see through this shadow so that we can see the boards a little bit better.
Okay.
So transparency.
Yeah.
But this is a nice view.
I made sure you can see the whole shadow of the building because on the previous one I couldn't. I didn't have all of it.
Yeah. Maybe a little tall. Maybe it's a little tall.
I was just gonna say, isn't he a little bit too big too?
Yes, he is.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, but this is all nice. Yeah, and then try some clusters just to break up that
Like
vast.
trees or something.
Yeah, just to break up that line on the back.
I tried to do that thing with the wood that we were talking about on
Getting
the
grain to go in the right
Lumion.
direction.
Yeah, but everything, like all the wood types, they were all going like
They will
either
all change.
zigzag or
You have to, it's a real pain in the butt. You have to make each one a separate material and then adjust the direction. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Where on here?
yeah.
And yeah, so you would have to make the material on the left side one material and the material on the right side another material, and then you could adjust it in Lumion so that, but otherwise the angle of the grain would be the same in both pieces. They wouldn't follow the board.
Hmm.
Yeah.
On each face of the same timber?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
So maybe don't try it this time.
Yeah, it's not that bad. That doesn't, the deck is really nice.
Okay.
In general, in life, in Photoshop, it's the lighter the wood grain, the easier it is to deal with it. You know, if we zoom in or we pay attention closely, that's a little suspect, but it's not a glaring issue. So it's okay. I would say you could get by without. But more subtle wood grains are typically easier to work with. They don't jump out at us. Nice, yeah. Work on him. Get some break up that horizon line a little bit. Good. Lyric?
On the trees, if I want to add trees, should I add them? Why is that like that? Should I add them on Lumion?
You could try them in Lumion.
Okay.
I'm here.
Lyric, hi. Okay, are we zoomed in really?
Yeah, this was one of the scenes.
Or close, and it looks like perspective isn't turned on.
In SketchUp, you want to get perspective on it. We're just too close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the background looks right. I mean, you still got a few little gaps around the chair, but yeah, we don't want to be that close, and we need it to be in perspective.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a place to zoom in or times to zoom in, but this is kind of confusing. What is this? Is this supposed to be here?
No, where's the roof?
Thought that was there.
Something. This guy is a little suspicious.
I think it was connected to something, one of my components.
Yeah, but what's happened is you
Just want to
have the pearl. Oh. So the section isn't quite right because the part on the top should be the roof, which extends all the way across, and then the piece underneath is the wood that holds up the roof, and those should be continuous.
Right. Okay.
and then this gets extruded.
All right.
This is a little odd.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, the whole thing moves when I try to put it up. All of it moves up and it becomes like that big blur. If you know what I mean.
Well, it looks like this stair. There's like this stair, this riser, looks like it was extruded all the way to the door, which doesn't need to happen. That should just be like its own standalone thing. Like that, its own block. It just looks like it appears like you took this block right here and extruded it all the way to the door, and then they moved up together and created that little sidewalk, which shouldn't be there.
It's probably what went wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, you could, I mean, the short cheat would just be to delete it. You'll probably just get rid of this whole piece. This is the edge of the deck as long as it continues, and then this is your step.
Right. Okay.
Delete this whole slab. Yeah, just get us back a little bit.
Yeah.
There are times and places to zoom in, but this is a little too close.
Okay.
Yeah, the background's nice.
Yeah.
A little bright, but it fits nicely, and the grass is nice.
Should it be a little darker?
You might take down the saturation a little bit, but we really need to see it with the building smaller and the larger context.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so not darker, like Michael said, not as intense with the green. So it's the saturation. There's a saturation adjustment. So just not gray, but not bright green. You don't want, the background shouldn't be the brightest thing generally.
Because our eye will go to that, and we're really interested in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And the building has fairly soft muted colors too. So
Yeah. Okay, they'll get fixed.
All right. Kira, you got plenty of room around the bed. Oh, I kind of like that bed. Is this? You there, Kira?
Yes, I'm here.
This is nice.
Thank you.
The background's a little bright, again, saturated. But this is really nice. Is this all SketchUp and
Yeah.
Photoshop? What's in Photoshop?
This is Photoshop.
What parts are in Photoshop? The background,
Yes, the background. Yeah, that's it.
the tree.
background in the tree.
The background of the tree. Yeah.
Tree is nice how it's coming under the roof a little bit. It's well done.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's really interesting now that we see a number of these renderings with the Photoshop on top of SketchUp, and I never thought the two would go together, but they work. It's working really well. You know, it gives a really good feeling of that space. It's very clear.
How did you do that, Kira? So how is this layer in front of the glass?
Yes, it's in front. I just used the lasso tool to cut out the trim.
And then what about these chairs? You cut out all that?
I had to zoom in, yes, and cut out.
But you cut out the landscape out of every little slat there?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Good for you.
Mhm.
That's often will detail people like Skip.
That's really well done. I could see, yeah, I mean, I could see an odd blue band here.
Yeah,
No, I had to do it over.
do it over.
Is it a whole do-over or? I think you could just fix that. I think that could be fixed.
Yeah, it's all one color. I think you'd be able to just blend that in. But it's very
Yeah.
sharp.
Lasso tool, and then just get that blue color. Yeah.
Mhm. And I have some near the
Yeah,
trim in the
here it's a
middle
little
too.
suspect too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could do that. You could do that in Photoshop. You could just copy. You could just,
I tried
did you
that
try to
too.
copy exactly where I just drew? Just copy that sliver and move it over?
No.
Yeah, you could. Send me the Photoshop file. Send it now. We'll do it right after break.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to see you spend too much time on it
No.
because it's so close. This could be salvaged, definitely. It's really well done. Yeah, shoot it over. We'll open it up.
Okay.
And see how and so back to Abdullah, just it is nice, you know. So your view was a little suspiciously high. This is a good level. Just bringing it down a little bit, a little less ceiling we're looking at. And if your other two renderings have people in them, I don't feel the need, I mean, to put a person in this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel differently, Michael, or?
I would do so little to this, frankly.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's because it feels very comfortable. It feels inhabited. It doesn't, you know, and I would just fix those few small things and move on.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of attention that's gone into this.
Yeah. And that's an important, the way Michael said it, I think, just move on. That's an important point, you know, when it comes to the 11th hour and this thing's due in 5 days, you know, you just got to figure out how to conclude it and not overwork it too. You know, if it's working, don't, you know, so as much as we like people and, you know, there are times not to go down those roads that we so much like. But this feels very complete. Very nice. The light's beautiful.
You know, because, you know, the reason we like people in this is, you know, make it feel inhabited, make it feel believable, and that people pull us in.
Mm.
But we're already pulled into this image.
Yeah.
You know, I can just imagine standing where I'm standing, thinking about sitting at that nice table and chairs and looking out at the landscape. I don't need a figure to bring me into this image.
Yeah. So you do have to, your other images have to match this landscape, which isn't really
Yeah.
true. It's not true to the building, but
No.
It's a nice image, but it's not true to the building.
yeah. Well,
That's okay.
we'll have to let it go. And whoever's viewing your portfolio, you know, when it's time for university or employment, they're not going to know any better. So, you know, typically we don't say that out loud, but like Michael said, you got to move on at a certain point.
I added my other two images too. But I submitted it late.
All right. Well, we're going to go through all the boards. Let's take a break. This is the last one. Let's take 10 minutes and then we're going to look at the boards and then those late submissions we might or might not get to. Okay.
All right.
We have 2, 4, 6, 9 boards to look at. So we might not get to,
Yeah, and there's a lot to discuss about the boards.
yeah.
I submitted all my Photoshop models yesterday. I had 2 more that they should there.
Yeah, me too.
Where?
The one was rendering 2, the other one was rendering 3 on the.
Uh-huh.
But those are old boxes. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Those are,
We should have put them all in one thing.
well, yeah, because I would not know to go back to December 8th. And if I have time, I'll grab them, but I don't think we're gonna have time to look at everything. If they're on the board, we'll see them.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll discuss
Yes,
them
mine
all.
are on the board. Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
thank you.
I'll try to download them. 10 minutes, 25 after, we'll rendezvous.
Okay.
All right. It's looking good. All right, the pieces are on the board, but they're obviously small. And so you told us about the size issues and we said you could cut down the size of the board.
Exactly. Yeah, I just figured I'd put them on the board to see how off it was. And yeah, it's obviously doesn't work, but
So this is 300 or 220 and that's the size they come in at.
right.
Yeah, so cut the board down by a third or do what you have to do in that regard. Yeah. You could see, right? You can see the board now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the interest of time, we won't talk about the board because it's not laid out per se, but in terms, what we could talk about is the 3 renderings. How do they work together? These look nice and clean.
Yes, the CAD looks really good.
Yeah,
Should probably be relatively bigger on the board, I think.
yeah. And again, like Michael pointed out last class, you know, duplicating the instance and cropping it, you know, maybe that detail doesn't need to be so close.
Okay.
It could perhaps be a little bit bigger. Yeah, it could be, it could stand alone a little more, you know, because these, regardless of the size, boards are a little more spacious, you know, things could stretch out a little bit. So that detail for one could perhaps stretch out. Maybe these don't have to be as close to each other. So that's for everybody. Pay attention to the CAD, you know, just because this is how it came in, just like Michael showed us, we could pull them apart, we could duplicate and crop, and it's very easy to do in InDesign. So give each CAD piece the space that it deserves.
And just one thing, when you're composing your board, I still think that the one image that tells the most story is the smallest one. So the one in the middle. I feel like that, you know, that should probably be your key image. When we see, there's just a lot of ceiling in that interior view, and it seems kind of empty, and I would not make that the priority image.
Okay.
I mean, at least you have a hierarchy going here, but yeah, that would be what I really try to aim for.
Yeah. In general, I think, I mean, there definitely all rules could be broken, but in general, the exterior makes more sense as a key image because because it explains the building more fully. Doesn't have to be that way, but
No.
generally we want to understand the building, but the best image should be the biggest one. I'm just going to flip through them all very quickly just to
Sure.
see. I like to get an overview. So big text, lyric. Just give me 1 second. Oh, stop her from eating my jacket. Okay. Hey, knock it off. Very blue, Romina. Excuse me one more time. Leave that alone. Okay. This might be an example of that proves me wrong. Maybe. Yeah, backgrounds are coming on strong. But a good start. All right, one more time from the top. So if you have questions, now's the time. All good, Tatiana, then? Or
Yeah, I have my own reworking to do. So
okay. So lyric. So
Yes.
elevations and plans need to be the same scale. This is for everybody, of course. And the like in general, like I don't mind like this kind of, well, in general, a little bit of texture on the background could be nice, but it's always odd, I think, when the white plans, then they just become so blocky.
Right.
That's just bringing out. So in this case, you might, and is it pixelated? It is.
Yeah, I
pixelated.
looked at
Yeah.
it before. It's pretty. It's got a lot of pixels to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did this in InDesign, and usually there's a button where it's like high
That's just display. That's a display issue. High performance display.
yeah.
That's just how it shows up on your monitor. That has nothing to do with the resolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is an image that's not big enough in Photoshop. So this gray marble, and again, this is an important point for everybody. If this is a 24 by 36 board, you need to find in Photoshop a 24 by 36 inch photograph that's at least 220 resolution, and that's pretty unlikely. I'd put that in the highly unlikely category that you're going to find an image of anything that's that big.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably just lose that background. So I think when Michael talked about backgrounds more, it was usually he referred to gradients or colors, because those are things in InDesign that are resolution independent of resolution. They're just how would you describe that, Michael? That's
I think you said it exactly right. They're independent of resolution. You don't have to worry about a weird pixelated image. I also go so far as, it can be nice to have a background, but like this is a wood structure. Marble has nothing to do with this particular project. So I would be like, I
Like,
would
what's the
agree.
point? It doesn't make sense.
yeah.
And I'm also in your perspectives. Well, I think one, I don't know what's going on up there. Most of the roof, but not all of it. But there's something. I wonder if you're still in parallel view. Maybe that looks like that's in perspective, but something is strange. Proportions
Yeah,
look wrong.
I will check all of it. I don't know what's wrong with that.
The Photoshop is technique is good throughout, though, particularly the way you dropped in backgrounds. But yeah, looks like that it's not taken in a perspective view.
Okay. I did have a question about if you can tell the top left rendering and the bottom is the same background. I wasn't sure if you wanted the same background with the top right. Because I know we're trying to keep it like cohesive. I wasn't sure if I should give a different background for the full model or a different background. I meant the same background.
I think if you tone down the intensity of these backgrounds, it'll be all right, because they're nice pretty pastures, same kinds of trees, it appears, same type of grass. It's just these two have this eerie / beautiful light, and this one's very flat. So I would just flatten these a little more.
Okay.
I think that's kind of all things considered, and that the SketchUp issues are really need to be your priority.
Yeah.
Your Photoshop skills are right now the strongest part that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like good jobs with the backgrounds. So just tone these down, saturation adjustment, so it's a little closer to this. I mean, this is, it'd be nice if this was a little bit of a brighter day, but we could get past that. This is maybe a little too dramatic. And again, this view is too close, where you're not showing us the building.
Right.
And this is very peculiar here. This is not, something is not correct. That we are, why do we have to step over this threshold in order to get out of this house?
Right. Yeah.
That's not right. That's not correct, is it, Michael? It's not correct.
No.
No. So this door should be
Where that
down
came
on the
from,
ground.
You're tracing off the CAD. Weird. It's like the deck is happening twice.
Yeah. It's probably why why it won't move. It's most likely why it won't move when I try to, what is it, extrude it up. It takes the whole front piece with it. So that's probably why. I'm probably just gonna have to redo that front part so the door can go all the way to the bottom and the stairs can be a part of the deck instead of its own segment part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or, not to be, David could beat me up, or somehow we don't emphasize that in the views.
Yeah, no. Again, 11th hour, just if something's wrong, and this is a lesson for everybody, if something's wrong, don't show it. Avoid it. I don't know how you're going to avoid this situation on the outside.
I'll probably just fix that.
Yeah.
Just completely fix it.
Yeah. So again, 11th hour cheat is just bring the deck up to here on the outside. On the inside, yeah. Well, ideally everything comes up, and like, where are the windows? Are there windows here? There are no windows. Yeah, this model's not quite finished yet.
And the other thing is the text is just what attracted you to this building. Be very brief and much smaller in size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Title can be big, but it's not this. We're not quoting the architects anymore.
Okay.
We're just 2 to 3 sentences about what you really appreciate about this building. If you paraphrase what the architects had to say, it's not the end of the world, but that's what we were looking for here.
Right.
Why did you, what do you like? How do you, what do you really like about this building?
Right. And you said bring the text down, not too much.
The text is way too big.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should be, 14, 16 point max.
Okay.
That's more like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a small part of the board. Okay.
All right. I'm sorry. Is the layout of it okay? Like the layout, I was trying to look at the other layouts from the presentation that we watched of the other presentation boards.
Well, in general, 2 columns is a fine strategy.
Yeah.
That's fine. These need to be the same scale, but a lot of the boards that we looked at had 2 columns over a main image.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so give us because there's no priority here. All 5 of these images are treated the same. So you have to show us
Which one is more
what's
important?
best. Show us what's best.
Okay.
So maybe 1 big guy and then 2 columns below.
All right.
All right, Abdullah, you got to pull this apart. We could spend more time looking at your renderings if we have time, but there's not much to talk about on the board yet.
Yes. I was working on it this morning, but something came up, so that's why I couldn't finish it. But I submitted because I have a question actually.
Okay.
Yeah. When you see the plans and the sections, I don't know why they look like that. Like you have to zoom in to see the details. I don't know why.
Well, there's something wrong with the size. Like, why are they so small on this piece of paper?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, we got to get back to like, so if we go back, project 2, where are we? Project 2, CAD finals. So where are you?
Yeah.
So how big is this sheet of paper? Can I see that? Can I figure that out here?
I think it's 24 by 36.
So these are probably 24 by 36. So that's making this like a 6 by 6 image at best. There's I think this is I'm not exactly sure what the problem is, but laying the board out like this is a problem. Like, so if this is 24 by 36, so this is 18. So this is 6 inches. This is 6 inches at best. So the way you laid this board out is already kind of causing a problem in that really when we said 11 by 17, you know, we expected the images to be like this. So these images are, if that was an 11 by 17, this is a, you know, an 8 by 11 image. So each image should be about the size of a piece of copy paper. Your images right off the bat here are not way too small, but they're half the size they should be.
Yeah.
So that's why when we said 11 by 17, we wanted those images maximum size, because then we knew when they got dropped onto the board, they'd be about the right size. So even though you got an extra big piece of paper, you put these tiny images on top and nothing is aligned. I mean, these guys are not aligned either. I'm not even sure if they're the right, I don't know. They might be the right scale, but you probably have to go back to CAD, or it's probably the easiest thing is just to go back to CAD and get them printing at a respectable scale. You know, so it could be like 11 by 17, roof plan, over plan, you know, so this is the plan, this is the roof plan, and then these 2 guys could be another sheet of 11 by 17, max out the sizes, and then those could be dropped right onto the board.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to, that was kind of the one of our goals, and maybe we didn't state it enough and loud enough, but the goal was to get them ready to be dropped onto the board, and these are just too tiny. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. So like here, for instance, wherever we just landed, Jonathan's, you know, this might very well just be his 11 by 17 the way it was. You know, we could argue that, you know, maybe there's too much space in here, whatever. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but they're the right size being dropped in. That's the goal. Yeah. So coming out of CAD with the 24 by 36 board in mind. All right, so we're going to keep going, and we could, if we have time, we'll flip through some of your other images that I downloaded. All right. I think the gradient's too intense. I think the blue's too intense.
And you know, if it's like the blue of a sky, then it's going to be a vertical gradient. It's going to be blue more intense blue is going to be at the top, and it's going to go to a lighter blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Frank
Would
Gehry?
it work like if I had it coming from top? Would it work like the blue, or should I just?
Yeah, I think you should try it.
Okay.
Yeah. But not, maybe not as intense. It's more intense than
So,
your sky.
When I printed it out, I realized that I have more room on the page.
A lot more room.
Because on my InDesign, it had like a little rectangle, and I thought I had to stay in it. So I'll just adjust that, obviously.
Yeah.
Is
So
the
put-
watercoloring okay?
Where
Oh,
you
Rebecca.
have the cutaway image.
Yeah, I did that on Lumion, the one next to it. It's kind of like to show the structure of the roof, or like.
Although I would honestly, I would keep it all photorealistic,
Okay.
and it looks fine, but I would just, for the sake of consistency in one board, I'd keep it the same.
Yeah. But
Okay.
the exploded view is nice.
The view is great. Should be bigger
Yeah.
Okay.
and centered.
Do those things hang off like that?
No, there's like one more truss back there. One more A-frame,
Probably.
Yeah, the back of Ramina's model is not as good as the front.
That happens. So prioritize. Show us the best image.
Okay.
Everything's too equal. These have to be the same scale. So these guys are super tiny.
Those were from the PDF. I'll fix those now that I have the file. That's why
Yeah.
they come up like that.
Yeah.
The interior views are nice. I give them a priority, put them up. But it'd be nice to have a single image that that guy sitting there looks a lot like Frank Gehry. And his ghost dog.
Right.
They look good. They look good.
Okay.
Yeah, the interiors are really nice.
Yeah.
I had to redo them yesterday, so I'm glad.
Yeah, you could trim. What is this thing right here?
Fireplace.
Yes,
Fireplace.
That's the
All the fireplaces are throwing me. Yeah, they look good.
So should I maybe just do another like Lumion design instead of like the one with the watercoloring? Maybe
I think
use.
do
I
another.
mean, the watercolor is fine. I would kind of just stick with it being photorealistic.
Mhm.
The same rendering style that you've done the other images,
Okay.
and
For
more.
some reason, I thought you wanted us to try something different. I don't know why I remembered that.
No, I
That's
wanted
why.
to try it,
Okay.
but it's fast, and I would say, okay, no, thank you, but no.
Okay.
The only, if I were to just play devil's advocate and say a contrary opinion, if you were to delete all of the sky and the grass and the shadows and put it over here with the CAD,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
As
treat
a
it
detail. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
as a completely different thing. Here you're saying these four are a
They're
family,
similar. Okay. I get that.
but this guy's not really similar. So I don't
Okay.
think it.
I'll do that
that's-
as a detail then, put it with the CAD, and then I'll make another rendering as a fourth or something.
or not,
That's it.
or not.
Or not. Okay.
Yeah.
Or not.
You got the interior covered, and if you could get something that really adds more to the story, but if it doesn't, don't force it.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you strip out the background and it becomes more of a technical
Okay.
kind of drawing, perhaps that style could work.
Okay. Because I have room in the board.
Yeah,
You
there's definitely room.
Although your plan will have to get bigger.
Yeah, everything has to get bigger, or CADs have. This all has. At least this has to get bigger.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think these guys could get a little bit bigger too.
Okay.
Yeah, but the plan, everybody's plan should be pretty clear. Without
Gotcha.
zooming in,
Okay.
we should have a good view of the plan. Yeah, but again, hierarchy, main image, and then think about grouping. So, and who belongs with who.
Okay. No, it makes sense now that you're saying it.
Yeah. There, Lelani? You with us, Lelani? All right, we'll circle back if you return. Paula, you there?
Yes.
So align things. If they're this close, make them perfect. Text should be, this guy out of my way. Text should be either justified right? So 2020 ends right there, Philadelphia ends there, and your name ends there. So that's all pushed to the right. That's just an InDesign or Photoshop setting. So that's called justifying, pushing everybody to the right. If it's on the left side of the board, I would justify it to the left. All right, but not floating in the middle, usually not. Yeah.
And in InDesign, oh, well, no, yeah, you want to get that text over. No, okay, go ahead, David.
That's all I had right now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of typos in your text. The text is also too large. It should be 1824. Turn on dynamic spelling when you're in InDesign, and it will flag spelling errors for you, as well as grammar errors, because there's a lot. And yeah, it should be the same size type as your name at the bottom. The images are a little too crowded, from CAD.
Yeah.
So you could make the site plan smaller just to give it some space.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be kind of cool. You could add in InDesign, you could actually add a solid fill because you've got your section at the bottom. You could fill that all in with black or gray. That will,
Actually up to the second line.
Yeah, just a solid. And you just go over, there's a pencil tool that you can use. That
That
can
can get filled in.
create that shape.
And maybe this plan is given moves over a little bit. This section could kind of be below it a little bit, and then the site plan could be a little smaller in there or something. So that like these two are a group. Site plan kind of stands alone on the side, perhaps. It'd be nice if the site plan were somewhere else, but I wouldn't force it. I think you're close enough. And again, for the 11th hour, I would work with what you have. So again, case study. Everybody, line up things. Move the C right over to there. Either things are, and everybody knows what I mean with justified right, justified left. Do I have a just? 1 second. File, new. So my name, my class. So this is right here. That's justified right. Let me get my bigger text. So that's justified right. That's justified left. And that's center. Usually we don't center things. It could be done, but it's a little harder to make work well. Justifying things left or right at the bottom of the board or the top of the board, it's just easier, I would say. So make a nice hard line across the left side, get the text over there. Nice hard line across the right, get the text over there. There could be exceptions, most certainly are, but if nothing else, do that.
Yeah, you just don't want it to look accidental. You want it to look deliberate, purposeful. That's
Yeah.
the way,
Yeah.
things
This
are in
is
their
good.
place.
So you have the text lines up right there. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
And then just take that text box in CAD or in InDesign, and just stretch it right to that point. And it might not be perfect, but you know, some of the sentences or lines end differently, but that's fine. So groups, plan and section are a group. Site plan stands alone.
So would you like plan and section like the same size?
Yeah, yeah, they should most certainly be they should be the same scale. They look like they're close. They look like they are.
Pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Yeah, the section looks like it's maybe a little smaller.
Yeah, perhaps. But again, that's the section going this way, so it's a little little odd, but that's fine. But yeah, plans and sections are always groups.
But I mean, you want them to be aligned too?
Well, being that they're not, so let's just look at somebody else's quickly. So nobody has exactly what we're talking about here. So Romina's, this is typically how it's done. You can't do it this way because yours don't align perfectly. So this is for everybody. This is the standard. So these are not perfect now, or these look good. Yeah, these are good. So that wall lines up with that wall. That wall lines up with that wall. The base of the columns lines up with the base of the column. So this is the typical perfect way to do it. Plan over section, perfectly aligned. You can't do that because your section is cut in the other direction. So you should have section marks, and you could add those in InDesign. So you should have 2 section marks right here. And then this section, it's not going to align because it's not oriented the same way. So it's just going to sit here, and that's fine. As long as you have these section marks telling us it's cut in the opposite direction, that's fine. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Making like the board, I was kind of guessing because I was trying to look up for the Zoom recording again, but I couldn't find it yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't post. I'm sorry, I had some computer problems and I didn't post it till today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that, you know, I like that presentation that I have, but again, like I said many times, those boards are very complicated, and you're going down the right path. You know, we got 2 columns, so that's good. And so again, it's, you know, hierarchy, think about columns and rows, alignment and groups. So just make this more of a clear group, these 2. Shrink this guy a little bit. So he's part of this family, but he's, you know, he's smaller, you know, so it's like mommy, daddy, and kid over here, and just get the kid to be a little smaller. Don't let CAD plan run up underneath the rendering. This is a good choice. There's a lot of tree up there, but it's a good choice. And you did a very good job with it, as we discussed. So that's a good choice there. Get these guys to align, and they look good. So you're on your way. It's close. We just need to fine tune some stuff. You could take out the 2 and just put a colon. Everybody could just do case study colon lounge, LOUNGE. And again, turn on spell check in there or type in Word, right? So if we type something wrong, I might not have my spell check. Sometimes spell checks works for me, not, but.
Oh, there is Nome, Alaska.
No what?
Isn't Nome, Alaska spelled?
Oh, really?
No, I think you didn't misspell.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So open up Word or Google, whatever Google word is, I forget. Type in there and then just copy and paste it in. So you have to make sure there are no spelling errors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're on your way. And you're on your way.
Thank you.
All right. You there, Tao?
Hey, Tao.
You with us, Tao?
Before I just have like a question
Yeah.
because the professor Michaels say the other class that we should add like 3 or 4 sentences from our own. So he said like he was going to check them to find the correct words. So because English is not my first language,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have like totally sense.
You're fun. Your English, it just needs a spell check. That's all. You just need to spell check it.
Okay, but also I mean like the idea makes sense itself. That's what I like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The idea that but the spelling, it's just it's not your ideas are fine. It's just that
Yeah.
the spelling needs to be checked.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You there, Tao?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So a lot of white space, get things to be a little bigger. It's nice. This looks good. It's nice and clean and simple. So some text would help. Names, right? Your name, our names, class.
I would urge you to try to make the images a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I made the image that size because I was leaving room to write the stuff that we were supposed to put on the bottom,
That's
like
fine.
the text.
Yeah, but see how big that is compared to how big that is?
Uh,
Right,
Yeah,
left side is really small, right side is at least twice as big.
oh right.
This is bigger than it needs to be, probably. There's probably more white space than necessary around this guy. So get everything else on the board and then bigger. What do you think about the main image, Michael?
I like it. I think it's I really like it. I think it also should then get a hierarchy of being larger.
Mm-hmm.
There's a nice quality of light coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, so when you create your columns or rows, you don't have to be so diplomatic. It shouldn't be 50-50, maybe. So
Right.
maybe this is 3/5 of the board, for instance.
Yeah, I say that, and your drawings are really beautiful, and I'd like to see them bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the people okay?
I don't love them. At least the one on the lower image. What you have, the one that really stands out is the guy walking off the deck. Fortunately, the other ones, they have our back to us and they're in the shadow, so they're not nearly as annoying as the guy walking off the deck and
Yeah.
looks like, you know, a robot kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. When
It's
people are mid-step, it's also a little weird.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's also mid-step, but I like him. Yeah, I'm more on board with him. He's okay. But yeah, this guy's the
Okay.
strange fellow in the group. So bring that case over there. Yeah, think about columns and not 50-50. 50-50 is too wishy-washy.
Okay.
Everybody needs to say, this is the best image. This is my money shot. This is the cover of my portfolio, whatever it is.
One that says, I want to be there.
Yeah.
That's the one to do.
And it shows people who look at your work that you have conviction, that you're taking a stance. This is it. This is my best work. This is the image that best describes the project and the one I did the best job on.
Okay.
These are nice, and these are two nice views. Like, I think these two views complement each other very nicely. We could see into the building with one, and then you're doing a nice job of showing us this cool profile of the other side where it has this cutout. So I think these two views work really nicely together.
And you've cropped them in successfully. So you did exactly what you said. You're cropping them in InDesign and leaving them alone in Photoshop. And that's really what you should do. So there's really nice work here. It's just polishing it to really show it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody make things as big as possible without crowding. Hector?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Hector. Hey.
How you doing?
It's kind of nice. Again, I think the backgrounds are intense, but
In the Photoshop images, yeah.
yeah. But I kind of like it.
Yeah. I
What do you
think
think
I
about
was going for like a wild jungle theme there.
well,
Yes.
I'm not
Because in
thrilled
the
with
picture,
3D
the
text.
original pictures, it shows like, you know, a lot of vegetation and with the I really wanted to highlight like, you know, going like the passageway going into the building, like the stairways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Try to replicate that from the original pictures.
But it looks like in that image, which looks, actually it looks pretty good, but it doesn't look like it's in perspective. The building itself is in perspective. Maybe it is.
Which image?
The left image. We're looking.
Oh yeah, I definitely put that in perspective. view.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Is there going to be a third image?
Yeah, I'm still working on that.
Yeah, you could definitely swap out the elevation.
I was trying to get
Right.
another view from the dev room.
Yeah, that's fine, but this is a super, super important lesson. Again, going back to Michael showing us in project 1, you need to put the placeholder on here. You know, what's the point of doing all this work only to have to rearrange it all when the third image arrives? You know, Michael just said you could swap out, so you could get rid of that and put an image down there. And that's, again, that's like an 11th hour cheat, but there should just be a blank box here for that image.
Okay.
You know, there's no point in doing all this work to arrange this only to have to, you know, borderline
Rearrange it,
start from
yeah.
scratch, you know? So everybody just get all, even if they're placeholders, just get something on the board, as ugly as it is, just so you have the size of the box at least.
So you think I should get rid of the elevation view?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just doesn't tell us anything.
yeah,
Really. Doesn't really add information.
yeah.
And
And if you don't, you're gonna have to basically start from scratch, right? I mean, how else are you gonna squeeze the third view in here?
Right.
So placeholders.
text should be smaller. The
Get
descriptive
Michael's
text.
name.
Okay.
Yeah, I got bumped to another
Yeah.
line. It got cut off.
See how. Yeah,
Try
and
to always
P,
put text on a layer that's on
P
the
and
top.
professors. Yeah. And the P in professors covered up, which means something is on top of it or something odd.
Okay, I
Rotate.
have to look at that.
Yeah. If you have to take out the
That's
name
fine.
professors, the word professors, that's okay, but yeah, but again, justify. Here's the line. Get the text to the line, get that little landscape in, nice and clean.
Okay.
What do you think about this step,
Oh.
Michael? And this guy up on the top right, is that all right?
Oh, I think that's okay. I'm not thrilled with the 3D text itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to read.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like, it doesn't seem to like come out of the design of the project. Like of having a white marble background. It's like, why 3-dimensional text? Other than it's something one can do. So I don't know. I mean, I almost, it looks, I feel like, you know, that's the quick thing in InDesign is like reverse it, is put it below that image. And so it's in the middle of the page. I'm squinting my eyes and moving back from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that the two images align. Just looks,
You think the two images should align with each other?
and it just looks like this little step here looks kind of awkward. And also the way it's kind of crunching into the floor plan.
The reason I did that is because I wanted to kind of like give the story of the building itself, how it's not just like perfectly square, like it's kind of like, you know.
Right, it's not, but we can read that, and you know, where you'd really be, it's really angled. It's a worthy objective, but I really think, you know, just try it. Plain text, have the title text align with the descriptive text along the middle. See how that works. Have the descriptive text about the building be the same font and size as your Hector Aponte below. And not,
Okay.
it's condensed in some way, whether you did that, picked a condensed typeface, or you stretched it.
Yeah, you have three different.
Yeah, I stretched it actually.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Okay. So just keep it the same size.
Yeah. Yeah. We really don't need three different kinds of text going on like this.
This text is kind of nice and thin and light.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, then, you know, be consistent. That's all.
Or would you prefer this text, Michael?
Yeah, I prefer that. It's a little easier to read.
Yeah.
There is, you know, you can find condensed text. I mean, we didn't really get into that, but there's
Condensed
Myriad
meaning
has
it's kind
a
of
whole variety.
crunched together a bit.
Sorry?
Condensed meaning this is kind of crunched together. Yeah. I kind of like the lightness of it.
Yeah, it's light and condensed.
Yeah. It's a good start.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
I like the light touch on the background.
Yeah, definitely. And the color of the text is nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So you
A
got
lot
a
of
nice,
good decisions going on here.
yeah. This guy could come up a little bit, right? Whatever that space is. Why don't you do the same at the top?
Okay.
And you could do the same in between. These are kind of close. Again, getting picky, but think about that's, you know, the gutter, the space between things. Maybe the gutter's technically here, but whatever you want to call it. You know, if that's a half of an inch, it doesn't have to be, but consider it, you know. I mean, these are maybe a little close because these are busy images. A little breathing room around the images just makes it easier on the eyes. And the section should be the same size as the plan, right? So show us the arrows where this thing is cut, because Miles or Tony will be asking that question. This one in particular, because this one, it's cut in the opposite direction. Often we kind of expect things to be cut this way, but this one's
Right.
cut in the opposite direction. So maybe the floor plan shrinks it just a little bit. And you know, maybe we could lose some of this. Maybe we could lose a little bit of that. I like the tray, but try to get these to be the same.
And you need a strong ground line under your section. Right now, it's pretty faint. You can just add that, draw it in InDesign.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice thick black line.
Yeah. It's on its way.
Thank you.
Yep. Calm down the plants though. The jungle.
I was gonna work on that, and I was gonna lighten it too, like on the interior view, so that it's
Yeah,
not so.
because
Yeah.
really that I don't want to, like, that ceiling is white in the actual building,
Yeah.
not black.
Yeah. Most ceilings in the world are white. Otherwise, it gets oppressive to have dark ceilings over your head.
Right.
And that's, I mean, again, a cheat. You could just do that in InDesign.
Yeah, you don't even need to do it in Photoshop.
Yeah. If you know, if you're rushing off to the printer, and you don't have time, you could drop shapes on top. All right. Good start. Just okay. Jonathan, you're here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So was there a plan for the big white space, or What's going on?
I wasn't sure if I was going to add more text or not. I think I'll probably move the stuff around so I can make the images bigger.
Yeah. These are a good size.
Yeah.
But again, even if images, I don't know. I mean, you could do that. Things could be like that, or there could be an implied gutter, and then these images, you know, we could crop and get rid of some of these extra long lines, and then these, well, I mean, you want them to be the same size. I'm just saying you don't want this image to crowd these plans. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Most important, they're the same size. So I guess there's not too much to do with that. Or one thing you might do is center it up a little more. If that's the center of the image, you know, this is all kind of extra space where this is super tight. Those guys came over a little bit and the plan came over a little bit. Again, you know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/5 of an inch.
Yeah, use in InDesign, just go into the view, use that 1/2 inch border that's automatically produced around your board as just at least a starting point for getting things equally aligned around the board. And I would argue that that image in the middle looks pretty good, but I think it could be cropped. So it doesn't have to be the same aspect as the one. So yeah, that one above.
Yeah, there's a
lot of just, yeah, that looks much better, almost cropped to a square.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice image though. She looks good.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Yeah.
Again, some really good Photoshop technique. Very,
I don't think, whoops, sorry. I like to zoom out sometimes.
yeah, I keep doing that. If anyone's looking at me, I keep like rolling back in my chair just to see, you know, how it's hanging together at a little bit of a distance.
That's kind of nice. Yeah, Photoshop's nice. So this is where'd the shadow come from?
I think that just straight from SketchUp and then edited in Photoshop.
It's good.
Good. Very good.
Yeah, in real life, I don't think it would have this hard edge.
Yeah, on the grass, but yeah, you could, if there's any way you can edit it a little bit, soften that.
Yeah, it could be, you could try the eraser, you know, with the reducing the flow and just kind of take that hard edge off of it. Because, you know, when a shadow runs over tall grass, it's not going to look like a floor.
Right. Okay.
Just cut the crispness off of it. But otherwise, it's really nice. The background's the perfect tone. SketchUp rendering looks good.
If Jonathan, if you, I hate to do this, but if you wind up and you still have some extra space, throw in another rendering. They're so nice. You know, even though we said we wanted 3, but you know, we can start getting a little greedy now. It's like, well, they're 3 really, really nice renderings. You know, so see how it lays out.
Yeah, you got 4 whole days left.
4 whole days. It's mostly there. And you don't need any, your descriptive text is fine. It's a little small for me to read, but that's all we're asking for.
Okay, so maybe make it a little bit bigger.
No, it's because, no, it's fine. Your font's the right size.
Okay.
It's just like, I'm seeing it on a small Zoom screen. So,
I don't know. I wonder about your name. I wonder if your name could almost tuck in here or something.
right.
These guys could get it. These guys could own the whole corner, or it could stay there, or it could stay there. Just let the image take up the corner, and then it just sits down there, perhaps. Yeah, just again, everybody, borders all the way around. Like Michael said, 1/2-inch border or whatever InDesign presents you with a 1/2-inch border. Just move to it in all directions.
And it'll stick to that. It'll sort of click into that when you place an image or your text. It'll snap to that 1/2-inch border. The 1/2 inch is arbitrary, but you know, it's a good measure overall.
Tao, are you there? Or Tao, we talked to Tao.
Yeah.
Who did we not talk to?
We everybody that submitted a board.
Oh, we did? Okay. I thought
Yeah, we
somebody
got
was-
everybody.
Oh, no.
Oh no, we didn't get Leilani. She didn't seem to be there.
Yeah. She is definitely not here now. Okay. Nice renderings.
I kind of liked, with that one, I don't think it really makes that much difference, but the sky, that super dramatic sky in the courtyard rendering, there was a simpler sky before. I think that goes a lot more with the look of these.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love that. I mean, it's a nice 9x9 grid, but I don't know. I would still love like maybe the first column to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But the images are nice. Aesthetically, they hold together. There's a little too much white space.
Yeah.
Between, so the plans and sections could be bigger. And there's a lot of white space in there that's not necessary.
Yeah. All right, but she's not here, so.
So she's not here, so she can rewind it on the videotape, get the playback.
All right, any final questions, comments, concerns? All right, so final submission is, so Tuesday. Let's see, where are we?
I have a question for Tuesday. For Tuesday, we like logging for class regularly, right? At 2?
Yeah,
We're gonna have a presentation. Okay. Thank God you said that because I didn't know I wasn't gonna show up,
yeah.
Oh, that would be too bad.
right?
So we said December, so when are these due? Sunday?
Yes. Let me double check that.
13th, I put the 13th down, so that's 11, 12, yeah, Sunday at midnight? Or do we want to do Monday at midnight? Are we gonna grade before?
I'd like to.
Okay, Sunday at midnight.
And I'd like these folks to be able to concentrate on all the other things that they have to do for the end of the week.
Yeah,
Get this out of the way. Most of you are, I just have to add, are in a really pretty good place. I mean, the folks that submitted the boards. It's a matter of final tweaking. You have excellent ingredients. Most of you have built really beautiful, detailed SketchUp models. You've mastered Photoshop very well. So it's really just polishing and showing this off as best as you can. So, I think Sunday is plenty of time for almost all of you to get this together.
yeah. Kira, I have yours. I'll do that quickly, but then I got to get out of here.
Or I can do it if you have to.
And my other two Photoshops were okay, right? I just, okay, the interior ones, okay.
Okay. Well, good, folks.
I guess I will see you on Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Wait,
we'll send out an email.
So are we gonna made up what we're gonna say on Tuesday?
I think we'll send a script. We'll send a very brief script that'll just point to in the right direction.
Okay.
This is my project. This is why I chose it. You're going to point to it on the board and then tell us, and then it's really more talking about technique. So it's not, these aren't your designs. So you don't have to tell us about the houses except what you like about it. You didn't design it. So, and our guests will be able to understand these houses quickly enough. So it's really, it's going to be more about your technique. Like, I took this through SketchUp to Lumion to Photoshop. I enjoyed this. I hated this. It's not, it should be pretty easy. The presentation part should not be stressful.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a design studio presentation where, you're going to have to explain your concept and, all those other, your decision-making processes, all those other pieces. And you're going to describe some of that, but it's more, this is presentation techniques. So it's about, we're going to be talking about your techniques.
Okay.
You there, Kira?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Take care. Have a good weekend. Be productive.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So Kira, I think, I'm not sure that this will work, but so here's your layer 9.
Yeah.
So I get on that layer, try the lasso. So I'm going to zoom in nice and tight. And so let's really zoom in. So the lasso is a really nice tool in that it allows you to, you could both zoom in, and then so I'm starting, I could see exactly where that dark blue and that light blue match. Down, down, down. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, come on. And this might or might not work, but come on. It's a long journey.
Yeah, well, we're down to the pixels.
I'm going to stop here. You get the point.
Yeah.
And then, so I could see 6 pixels are missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And then I could zoom out a little bit so this doesn't take quite as long. Back up. Three, 4, 5, 6. Control C, Control V. So for some reason my 6 pixels are completely wrong.
There's some perspective perhaps in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 6 pixels at the bottom, but not at the top.
Yeah. But that, once you fix the color, I think that'll work. I don't think anybody would notice that. So it's just a sliver of the same. I suspect that'll work just fine for you because just, get the tone to be the same. And then so I just created that's on, so it's on layer 2. Or it's on the same, it's on the layer 11. And then, so there's layer 11, layer 9, select them both. And then once it's in place, you could just merge the layers and it'll be one thing. That make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said turn down the saturation.
Yeah. You have to do whatever you did to this one, you have to do the same. I don't know how you did that exactly. Because there's I don't see and then just the same thing here. So again, you could zoom in quite a bit. As much as I zoomed in, something was wrong. So Control C, Control V, whoops. Am I on the right layer? Yeah, layer 9, Control C, Control V, like that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, very nice work here.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right.
Great.
I have a question about my grade, if it's possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I got 2 zeros on two works. One of them actually because was late. First one says missing, and actually I don't know how I missed that work because I have it here. I remember that I did it, so maybe when I submit it, I go through or something like that in the project one.
Something, so I see something, I see cabin. Are you going back to
In the project one.
project one? I see one thing doesn't have a grade yet. So we could put a grade in there if something was submitted.
Yeah, how about the one who says is missing? The
I see some late submissions that were not
Yeah,
graded.
it's InDesign. Yeah, presentation board InDesign. I have it here right now. I don't know how I didn't submit it.
How about we'll go over, we'll look at everybody's grades over the weekend and we'll fill in some blanks if we feel something is deserved, and then we could
Yeah.
talk again next time we meet.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you want, I will submit the InDesign one because I have it here.
Okay.
If you want.
We have to look at the stuff and Michael and I have to talk.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
The pooch is crying. I'm gonna go.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a good one. See you.
All right, bye. I'm gonna run, Michael, okay?
All right.
All right, before there's an accident.
Oh, yeah, we don't want that.
Bye.